Life, Death, Ethics, and Morality. Question.
Thank you for your website. I've read every word on it at least once, and I am spending less time each day in the dream world of thought, and progressively more in an effortless direct knowing.
Excellent.
When I found your site, I realized that either the websites and texts I've somehow been directed to over the years have been progressively clearer in their communication of direct knowing, or else my filter has become thinner. In either case, it appears as though when I was receptive the corresponding level of instruction appeared.
Most of us who have been involved in this kind of thing for a period of time find there is a natural progression from teaching to teaching as the inner discernment grows. Looking back, it appears to be pretty organic and natural, although we may not have been aware of the progression. Not that we are getting anywhere, but there is a growing realization that what we are seeking is present and available within us.
Before coming to your website, I had nearly abandoned the hope that any answers would be found in either reading or thought. Although I sensed that some lack of clarity remained, your website seems to have illumined these blind spots for me.
That is how I felt when I came across Bob Adamson's teachings. Certain lingering questions started to get resolved because the pointing was so simple and clear. I am glad to return the favor.
A single nagging question remains that I feel the need to bring to you. I have seen that there is seeing, but no seer.
Yes, the seeing is real, but the seer as some kind of separate entity is not present in seeing. It is a conceptual postulation. It is the same with the object seen. To speak of an object separate from the seeing is not really possible based on direct evidence.
I'd also see that there are actions without an actor and hearing without a hearer.
A similar analysis applies to these as well.
There was a moment when the fact that there is nobody home became so clear to me at the level of experience that I had an extremely vivid dream that night of walking around in a world of people with no heads. The experience of this pathless path most certainly has a life, and will that is completely unrelated to any decision-maker, I may imagine to be me. The question that appears to keep a vacillation going is this. I can see that literally everything arises and disappears within the context of a bright, clear awareness.
This is undoubtable.
And the awareness itself is utterly unaffected by its contents. It is just that some of the contents I find troubling.
Here is where it gets sticky. Be very clear that the I you are speaking of here is entirely non-existent. Also, see that it is not the senses themselves that are troubled by what they are seeing, nor is it the pure awareness that you are that is troubled. The trouble arises strictly in thought, based on certain held beliefs which were picked up through habit and conditioning.
Well, it is seeing, but this seeing includes the roadside bombing of American soldiers, the gruesome beheading of hostages, etc. Is this truly nothing more than a film playing out on the screen of awareness? A film in which what appears as human beings are in no way different than what appears as rocks and trees.
Ultimately, yes.
But life and horribly gruesome death play out within the context of this unborn, seemingly eternal awareness.
Forms appear and disappear in awareness. Bodies are born. Bodies die. They die of natural causes, accidents, disease or harm caused by other people acting under gross delusion, egoism, hatred, and so on.
When you cross the line into continual effortless awareness, what is the response of your mind-body machine to something like the death of spouse or child?
It is good to be precise here. It is not that you cross over into effortless awareness. Rather, it is seen that you have never been apart from that. But getting back to what we were discussing, all I can say is that my own feelings toward the death and illness of the body have changed radically. Somehow I am more at peace with these kinds of issues, and they don't really trouble me that much. You can see that all forms perish. You can also see that living beings commit all sorts of heinous acts under the sway of egoism and selfishness. This is very clear. This is not to say that one is not moved by pain or sorrow. All the emotions are still fully functional. Just because you have discovered a source of inner peace does not mean you are non-reactive or lack compassion or sympathy.
Is there any sense of ethics or morality left?
Most ethics and morals are local and conditional. They are based on attitudes and beliefs that vary widely from time to time and place to place. These are makeshift and temporary. There is a deeper view of ethics and morality that stems from an understanding that actions born of egoism are false because they are based on a profound ignorance of what is true about ourselves.
Does anything still matter to you?
Sure, all of the normal human responses are there in full play. The body-mind goes through all the normal human feelings and states. It is all part of the manifestation. Desires, preferences, pleasurable and painful experiences are there. From my experience, knowing who you are does not change this. However, the false idea of being a separate I cut off from reality and all the consequent self-centered emotions and states that result from that idea naturally fall out of the picture because they have no basis any longer.
Thank you for your prompt and thoughtful note. There was a gift for me, a gem hidden inside your words. You wrote, yes, the seeing is real, but the seer as some kind of separate entity is not present in seeing. It is a conceptual postulation. It is the same with the object seen. To speak of an object separate from the seeing is not really possible based on direct evidence. Another blind spot illumined. Only reality can be known directly, and what it is known directly by is itself. Awareness it is, and it is self-aware. It is the source of everything that arises and disappears within it. It alone is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Thank you so much for your patience and kindness. This evening, after reading your correspondence, there was a weakening of the identification with this body-mind, a shift of sorts, a stepping back from the activity of this household, even the creation of this email, as if observing it from the outside.
Just stay with the basics, and everything naturally unfolds into the ever-present awareness that you can never lose.